Hey, everybody, welcome to JSA TV and JSA Podcasts, the newsroom for telecom and data center professionals. I'm Jamie Scotto-Kataya, and joining me today is Paige Haun. She's the Chief Marketing and ESG Strategy Officer. Paige, welcome to JSA TV.
Thank you, Jamie. It's great to be here.
Oh, and it is such a pleasure to have you join us today. So many great initiatives to discuss: the launch of Cologix second annual Environmental, Social, and Governance ESG Report, of course. But before we get to all that, go ahead and let our viewers know, if they don't know already, a little bit about yourself, Paige, and Cologix as a company.
Sure. Great. Thank you. I have been in the digital industry infrastructure for the past 8 or 9 years, and I have been the Chief Marketing Officer at Cologix for the past 2 years. I'm excited that my role is now expanding to include being our ESG Strategy Officer, where I have the opportunity to develop and grow our ESG roadmap, to build strategies for our ESG opportunities, and to drive our ESG initiatives. Cologix builds and runs network-neutral interconnection and hyperscale edge data centers in 11 markets in the US and Canada. It's an exciting industry. The digital infrastructure industry is a high-growth industry, and I'm proud to be a female executive in this industry and specifically at Cologix.
Yeah, and for us folks here in the data center community, we certainly know your brand. We've been watching you guys just grow so amazingly. You guys often are such leaders in the space. We look to you for inspiration. So let's go ahead and circle back first, though, about your ESG report. Exciting news there. Can you provide us just a little bit of background on the report and what Cologix is doing to really enhance its environmental, social, and governance practices?
Yes, we're excited about publishing our second ESG report. It's called Engineered for Scale. And in it, we talk about how we're scaling both our business and all of our ESG initiatives. So this is the first time in this report that we're sharing our ESG roadmap and our material topics publicly, which are those topics which are most important to us and our stakeholders from an ESG perspective. It's also the first time that we've shared publicly our target to become carbon neutral in Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 2030, which we think is exciting. We also share information in this report on our DEI initiatives to our employees. We share stories about how they're having such a great impact in their communities and around the world. It's just an opportunity for us to share the tremendous strides that we've taken over the past year around our ESG initiatives. And these are just activities that we're going to build on over the years to come.
And, we're hearing several companies like yourself who are committing, writing down in a pact even, we are committing to becoming carbon neutral by 2030, scope 1 and 2. Can you just give us a little bit more flavor, more information, so we can do it alongside you, a little bit more inspiration on how you are putting in place, what initiatives are you putting in place to really reach that goal?
Sure. Well, so in addition to committing to being carbon neutral in Scope 1 and Scope 2 by 2030, we've also committed to being using 100% renewable energy by 2030 as well. Today, about half of our energy usage is from renewable energy, which we're really proud of. Some examples of ways that we're reducing our carbon emissions today are the usage of LED lighting. We're reducing the frequency of doing generator testing. So over the past few years, we've been able to reduce that in half. We're doing things like using environmentally friendly chillers for cooling, as typically half of the data center's energy use is tied to cooling. We're also lessening our electricity consumption for cooling by using things like ambient air where we can in specific markets, using things like deep lake water cooling. So we're doing that in Toronto, where we're working with the city of Toronto to pull cold water from the bottom of the lake there and pump that into our data centers to cool them in a more natural way.
Oh my God, I just love that. I was just ferociously taking notes. Love what you're doing with Toronto specifically. So new and innovative. Also talking innovative, you're currently, I believe, more than 50% female representation in Cologix's leadership team, which is extraordinary, amazing, love it. Again, Cologix being a leader we all look to and are inspiring us here in the data center world. Can you discuss with us your work and what you're doing to really ensure this increased representation of women, as well as the diversity and inclusion initiatives that you set for the future?
Yes. So for me personally, it's the first time I've worked in an environment where we're over 50% female from an executive perspective. And it's been an exciting place to be in that kind of environment. In addition, we added our first female board member in early 2022, so earlier this year, which has been a great step forward. And then another thing we've done this year is we started our first employee resource group, which is specifically for the women at Cologix. It's called Cologix Women's Connection Group. And we had our first kickoff meeting in January of this year. Over 90% of the women attended that first kickoff meeting. And we've had tremendous representation at all of the meetings since then that are really focused on connecting the women of Cologix, helping them in their career path, helping them to solve problems and just grow themselves professionally and personally. So a lot of different things that Cologix is doing around the DEI space, and it's been an exciting place to be a female and to help lead the company.
Gosh, and I know if I was younger in my career path here, I would be looking at Cologix to go find a supportive women's network to grow my career professionally. So with that in mind, for our viewers who are listening and want to learn more, where can they go?
They should go to cologix.com. We've got a lot of great information there. You can find our ESG interactive report there, as well as just the standard one, and other great places to look for information about Cologix and about our ESG initiatives are on our blog, as well as on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Oh, so many great resources. Thank you so much, Paige. And we'll point your attention down below to this URL. Thank you again, Paige, and your Cologix colleagues for so much great information for all of us here in our industry. Also, thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV and JSA Podcasts. As always, happy networking.